You may remember earlier in this program, Tom Brokaw, his mother, and the entire NBC Nightly News team were out in California to cover the Nixon Library opening. Well, this idea that an anchor should leave the nerve center of his newsroom and then head outdoors to cover the story, this is all the rage now on television. Well, you know that. But Harry Shearer knows why.
This is the CBS Evening News. South Africa.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Reporting tonight from Berlin.
From the Berlin Wall specifically.
From Beijing, NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening from Beijing in Berlin, Germany. Here in Hungary. Here on the streets of East Berlin. It is Wednesday morning in China. Yesterday in Washington.
Tom Brokaw is in South Africa.
In England, they're called news readers.
Good evening. The headlines at 6 o'clock.
They're not graced with star lighting or the impressive title of managing editor.
Good evening.
And they're relatively anonymous, interchangeable.
Good evening.
Like supermarket baggers.
Good afternoon.
Here in the United States, the role of reading introductions to taped news reports has been inflated with more helium than a battalion of blimps. They are anchors, of course, slimmed down from anchor men in deference to women, although the networks really won't trust a woman with the job. But that's just because until recently, anchors had an important job to do. They told us what happened. And in order for us to believe them, they had to have that certain authority that comes from maleness. Today, by the time the evening news comes on the air, we know what's happened. We've heard it on all news radio. We've seen it on CNN. Or we've seen it boiled down for us by our local TV friends, you know, sandwiched in between the grisly murders and the ombudsman segment. So the network anchor had to find something else to do to earn his $2 million. He goes to different places. He jets in the morning, grabs a couple hours of sleep at the hotel, gets on the phone to New York to make sure he's got the latest wire service reports on what's actually going on, and then he speeds out to the location, and he asks the driver or the guys on the crew, hey, excuse me, what's the mood around here? What the anchor does today is convey mood.
Most of the people in Beijing are keeping their thoughts to themselves these days. Someone actually reached up and handed me a small piece of the wall that they had chipped away. It's those small moments that make up this extraordinary day. If you were here, the feeling that you would feel is a kind of combination 4th of July and Thanksgiving Day.
The key to the anchor's job today is no longer telling us that the Berlin Wall came down. It's showing us how to feel about it. The new head of NBC Nightly News recently said, research tells us that people like to see the anchor in different places. While they were at it, they should have asked us whether we'd like to see the anchor in compromising positions with leggy showgirls. But anyway, they do what research tells them to do. So the anchor goes where the news is, which means that he knows just a little bit less than we do about the news that's been going on while he was busy going there. But by itself, being ill-informed doesn't explain why so few of us believe these guys. After all, it didn't hurt Ronald Reagan's popularity any. But he was a trained actor. He knew how to express emotions like anger, awe, confidence, and forgetting. News anchors generally couldn't act their way through the Mr. T live-action stunt show at the Universal Studios tour.
Good evening and welcome to USA Today, the television show. Our cover story tonight, supermodels as corporate symbols.
One of the most publicized failures of recent television history was USA Today, the television show. Now, the big deal there was the anchors wouldn't sit, they'd stand. Difficult thing even for trained actors to do. So the network anchors are in the position that really pro wrestlers were in about 5 years ago. If they want to make it big in prime time, they're going to have to sharpen up their acting chops. I mean, just imagine how big Primetime Live would be if only Sam Donaldson could project warmth as believably as Diane Sawyer does. So as the job of the network anchor becomes that of conveying emotion, that is to say, drained of all serious meaning, the guys who run the networks will feel more comfortable hiring women for the position. Especially since, let's face it, a woman will do the job for $1.5 million tops. And that's the mood around here. Back to you, Robert.
Thank you, Harry, and thank you for watching. I'm Robert Krulwich. Good night.